This podcast is powered by The Plug.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hustle Bunny. I am your host, Miss August Skye.
And I'm your co-host, Hunter Stallion.
And in the studio today, we have the sexy, the beautiful, the penthouse pet of the month, Miss Lacey London, and the owner of some brand new perfect titties, Miss Lacey London.
We're so happy to have you. How are you today?
The one and only.
Yes, how are you? Love the hair. I love the hair color too. Like, that's nice. The whole fit. It's giving.
Giving. I was like thinking of if I was gonna do the gray hair, if I was gonna do the red hair.
Okay.
It's nice when you have options.
Right.
It
August
does.
and I were just texting off air, just talking about what are we going to wear today? Like, what is the look? And the fact that we're both stressing out over it means...
pressed and stressed. And it's crazy because I did blonde for like a little bit, right? I did blonde for about a month. And I was like, that was fun while it lasted, but like on to the next situation.
Right.
I used to be like so big into like colored wigs just because even just before cosplay and stuff, I just like was really big into it. And then I went through like a phase where I wanted my hair all natural to like recover from shooting and then flat ironing it so much. And then now I'm back on my wig wave. I'm just like, you know what?
Okay.
I want
There's something, it's nice about it, right? It's like, it's nice, it's easy, it's low maintenance. You don't have to worry about people fucking up your hair,
Right,
especially like when you're on set and things like that. But how about you kind of tell everybody like who you are, what you're about? We met at the AVN Awards, actually. We're signed to the same agency. We're signed to Motley. But it's like, what's crazy is like you don't get to always meet your like your counterparts, right? So the AVNs is where everyone's gonna be, and we just like hit it off. We were working the booth together for what, 4 days?
4 days straight,
and it was a good time.
It was super fun. And I'll give a little intro to myself. I'm Lacey London. I do shoot adult. I'm an adult actress. And I've been shooting my first scene was in 2017, but I've been consistently shooting since basically the release of COVID lockdown. So I guess that was the middle of 2020.
Okay.
I think so. Like
so
in
I feel
August
like we all kind of got our origin story like 2017 up till now.
COVID, yeah, like it's kind of like one of those things. So did you stop because of COVID?
So I actually did not. I ended up moving to Denver.
That's right.
Working like a normal job. I guess it wasn't really considered a normal job. But I was working for like my sugar daddy's company.
Okay.
We love that. So you really weren't even working. You just were getting a paycheck.
Just on the payroll, collecting them tips.
Literally, I was just getting paid to go and sit in the office and hear him whine about his other like employees every day, like for 2 years straight.
That's awesome.
So after I got tired of doing that, I was just like, you know what? I miss, doing raunchy things. And I think like some people are made to do porn. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like, fun fact about myself, I can make myself come with just mental stimulation only.
That is a superpower.
Superpower, right? So I was like able to do that super early, like 13. I was like able to do something like that. So I just think that like, I like went and was like chilling. I was like, yeah, this is cool and all, but like, I want to go. So
you know what? I'm glad you said that because I think we've had this conversation before to where like you just kind of know like at a young age to where you're like, why am I feeling this way? Like, why do I have such like an interest in like sexuality and like things like that? And you think about being like 13 or 14 when you're like really starting to hit puberty, because I would feel the same way too. I was more interested in like watching porn, but I wasn't watching it for like the sexual aspect. It was just like the curiosity because I was like, I want to do that one day.
And everyone was having so much fun.
Yeah, everyone was having a good time.
Yeah, I think for me, like I remember watching HBO After Dark like at 11, and that's when all like the stuff came on. And the one thing that always stood out to me was everyone was just having a good time. And like, that was so attractive.
Yeah. So do you still make yourself like do like the mental orgasm? Like, you gotta talk to us about that.
Yeah,
that's
please.
Like a superpower.
So you know what's funny? Like before I watched actual porn, I was into literotica.
Okay.
So I always was like able to, I have an extremely colorful, creative mind. So I was able to kind of like read things and imagine them in my mind
Okay.
of what it would be like. So yeah, that was like the first time. I actually didn't break my virginity till I was 18.
Okay.
Okay.
So so I was
So
like
then,
only doing this for a long time, and it just
yeah.
got like easier and easier as I got older, I guess.
Okay. Would you say for you that like sex was like a mental thing before it became a physical thing? Like it sounds like you really got in tune with that like actual superpower really early on.
I don't know if it was more like it seems mental just because it is my mind
Right.
doing some of the work, but it was like more, it wasn't like romantic things that would turn me on. It was just like sexual
Yeah.
things that would turn me
Yeah.
on. So it was still kind of like this sexual aspect, but just like using my mind. And then I think like when was I was like I think I was like 17 at the time that I first saw like a real like my favorite porn star, and I was like, she's it, and that's Skin Diamond. I don't know if you guys know who that
Okay.
is,
Okay.
but she is retired now. She goes like by Raylan Joy or something. But she was like my favorite porn girl altogether. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do porn. Like this seems super dope. And so yeah, so like I just kind of I don't know. It's always been kind of like a real heavy sexual thing for me, and then kind of manifested into more.
And it's
Awesome.
nice when you find somebody that you like. Like the person that was like popping when I was like in middle school, high school was Pinky.
Okay.
Do
Yes.
you know? Yeah, I mean Pinky. She was like she. I mean she was really short. She was really thick and curvy. I don't think she had like this was like before BBLs were like a
Okay.
thing. So she was
Right.
like out here. She was like working with everybody, and she has like bright pink hair and things like that. And she just always looked like she was having a good time, and she was just going ham. I'm like she would be going ham on some like fucking like. I'm like girl, how did you do that?
Right.
I'm like,
And
that
Pink,
is like a skill set that I feel like I need to have. You know what I mean? There was just something about it where I just like how she was enjoying herself. Like she was actually happy to be there. And I think like some
Yes.
of my favorite porn stars is like the porn like I like to emanate is like I like to enjoy myself when I'm on set. Like I like it to be like organic and like natural. And I like the girls who are like actually having fun. Like I like to like when I was like young, I was like watching like German gangbangs, and those girls in Germany they were
They go
having a
hard.
grand old time. You know what I mean? And I was like that's the kind of fun I like what's going on in Germany.
Yeah, and
You
all it
get some
takes,
like, you know?
yeah,
I'm gonna
all it
have to
takes is seeing
look
like
that up.
one,
Yeah.
absolutely, and just seeing like one good scene, like seeing the gangbang, seeing someone have fun, and like that's your invitation to like jump into that world, and it becomes so fun once you're in it.
Yeah, and you get to make it like a reality.
One thing I would say about Pinky too is we don't give her credit for it, but she also was kind of a crossover adult actress. Like she did video vixen stuff as well
Oh,
as porn. And that
Exactly.
was like kind of the start, the beginning of like girls being able to do multiple things and not being just like stuck in one avenue.
okay.
Even before Black China, we had Pinky. So.
Yeah, which I'm glad you mentioned that because nowadays, even like a lot of girls in our agency, like Motley, I feel like is known for girls who have made the crossover from mainstream to just adding porn to their resume. Did you do anything mainstream before you got into the industry, or were you just kind of like sugar daddy, just kind of like doing like your own version of like sex work?
So actually, I am from New Orleans. So New Orleans, I don't know if people actually realize this or not, but it's a very big film city. Like they
Okay.
come there and do a bunch of films there. So I've been like in NCIS, New Orleans. I did Queen
Oh,
Sugar. I did Claws. And that
Wow,
was
you
like
actress.
did
all
Okay.
Claws. I love that show.
so that was like all before doing adult work. And then prior to actually adult, like in 2017, how I got into the industry was because I was actually a personal assistant for a porn agency.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I actually started off doing that. And then as I saw the bookings and stuff and like saw kind of like the quality of girls, like they were attractive, but they were like not wanting, they weren't really wanting to shoot. Does that make sense? And I
Yeah.
was like, I can do this better and I'll actually enjoy it.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it's crazy. We have like the same mindset because I was like that too. I was like, well, I like there's like a lot of girls like they shoot and like you're like, okay, well you're just here for to get a check. Cool, whatever. Everyone's in it for like something different. But like you said, like you can do this, you can look better, and you can do it twice as good, and you can actually enjoy yourself. Like like I said, I always like to do stuff that I like to enjoy. I'm not putting out like I don't have like my porn star personality and then like my bedroom personality. Like it's all the same.
Together. Okay.
You know, like you're gonna get the same I mean, I guess it'll be like a similar version depending what kind of sex you're having, but like I enjoy my sex and my sexuality, so I like for it to translate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
See, I think for me, my perspective is so different because, like, I know y'all are industry girls and, like, really working with these agencies. And for me, like, I'm an OnlyFans kid. Like, I started in the bedroom, like, with my boyfriend and an iPhone. And so it's always, like, amazing to talk to other people who are doing the work and are, like, working with these agencies. I'm just wondering, like, from your perspective, do you feel like there's a difference between the work you do, like, specifically on OnlyFans and, like, the work that you do, like, industry level? What is that like from your perspective?
I think definitely, but really the only difference is like creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I think like for OnlyFans, I can be like, I'm gonna be Lacey, like August said before, it's not like multiple personalities or like I don't have an alter ego. Honestly, if I could have used my own name for adult and it was sexy enough, I would have, because there is no like separate person for me. That's just who I am on a sexual level, right? So for OF, it's like I'm able to curate that in an image that I want, even if I don't get shot for certain things, I can still curate that myself. Okay. So that's like the biggest difference I see in it. They give us a script. They tell us like, hey, this is what you're going to shoot. And I like those things. If I don't like it, then I don't shoot it. But for OF, it's like, I am able to say, okay, I haven't shot any cosplay for mainstream. I'm going to do cosplay for myself. I haven't shot, for mainstream. I'm going to do it for myself. You know?
Exactly.
So that's the biggest difference for me. Everything else, though, it's like, I've been on so many like content creating little meetups and stuff that they have like the lighting, they have the cameras, they have like the whole setup. So it's not really much different in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that too, because like sometimes like you with the porn industry, you do get categorized to where like you're kind of limited to what you shoot. It's like, yeah, you got to shoot this because like this is what the industry is, right? And like if you do want to shoot cosplay, if you do want to say, oh, maybe like I haven't shot like a rim job or like anal scene in real time, you can come over here and see like this exclusive content, and it's like it's on your own terms too, right? Like, if you want to prepare for it, it's not like preparing like when you're on set. When you're on set, like you have to come in, you have to be prepared, you have to like do it. Compared to like, I feel like you can ease your way into it. And I think that you can also have more fun because you're working with people that's not like that you're just paired with. Right. You can work with somebody that you've already worked with before, probably on set, but like you guys have really good chemistry. You can just work with like your partner. You can work with so many different people and you can take it so many different places. And you do have like that creative outlet and that creative freedom to really express yourself and what you want to do. And it doesn't have to be the same thing. I know some people like they have like their aesthetic and they stick with it. I think like with doing like mainstream, it's like you are out there and you can like find that anywhere. They want to see like what you want to do in your free time. They want to see what your house looks like. Some of my highest selling videos were like some like real shitty lighting, like fucking iPhone. They want to see your like laundry basket in the bag.
Which
you're
makes
like
me
your
think,
face is fucked up. They like it.
And it points me to the thing, and maybe you can both agree with me on this. Like OnlyFans allows like the super fans for like August and Lacey to like get a little closer and like interact, and like you said, maybe they don't just want to see us in the studio with the nice lighting. Maybe they want to see you with the laundry in the background, like looking like just a regular girl. And so I think a lot of people they feel very safe with OnlyFans because they can message us directly, and they can even have a little bit of a relationship depending on how it's set up and what the rules are. So I think that's really cool. I don't know if you relate to that at all, or if that is something that you see.
So what's interesting? So one, I'm like super weird about my brand. So like everything has to be curated to an aesthetic or else I don't want it out.
I get it.
People are like, they'll be like, hey, like, can you do a video with no makeup on? And I'm like, what are you into? An embarrassment fetish? Do you want me to look like a gremlin? Like, I'm just like, it messes with me a little bit. So it's like, I'm trying to be more like open about not being such a stickler for how everything's curated, but it's just like when I do put something out and it's not like to the level that I want it to be, then I regret it because it ends up going viral.
I feel that.
See, isn't it crazy how that goes viral, right? And I get that because I was like, so I used to be very stressed out about OnlyFans. And like, that's also what like made me stop because I was getting overwhelmed with like this perfection, like the light and everything. And then I had to like say, like, there's sometimes it's like, you know what? Like, if they like me, they want to see perfection. They can go on browsers. They can go on Pornhub. They can see that. Sometimes it's like, I just have to post a picture today. Like, this is the best that you guys are going to get. Sometimes like the lighting might not be great. Like, this is what you guys are going to get. And like there are things like I have hard nose. I'm like, if I put this video out here and like I don't know what you're gonna do with that. I don't need that video out in the world for people to see. So I do have my like hard nose, or I'm like, I'm just not gonna do that. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? This is the video you guys are gonna get today. I had a good time. I hope you guys understand. Like, we're busy. You know, and this is the best I could do today. And like ever since I've been doing that, as long as I like post consistently once a day, because you're like me, right? Like you took like a break from it. Now you're just like starting to get it back. And he's like he's a
I'm a cheerleader.
Yeah, he's like cheerleader, but you've also dialed it in so well to like you're like an OnlyFans person. So I guess we have like all levels of like OnlyFans creators.
Absolutely.
But like so I've been posting every day. Once a day, and people like people respond to it. I'll be like going out to have a cup of coffee. People like they love that, you know. Like, let me tip you for your coffee. Sometimes I think like they just want to see, you know, August Skye, or like they want to see Lacey, you know.
You become kind of like a part of their day. They can like check their phone and reliably know like, oh, I want to see what she's up to. Like, what look is she serving today? Like, you know, what's the vibe? And so I think a lot of people really like being connected to, you know, someone that you might not be able to approach in person just because, you know, porn stars are, you know, we're porn stars. And so that can be a little intimidating sometimes.
Yeah.
So how do you handle your how have you been handling everything? Like, so I know you haven't been shooting as much lately. Were you just kind of like taking a break? Were you kind of like,
you know what it is for me? I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna hold my ground on this. So recently, okay, you know, I got nominated for AVN and XBiz Awards, right?
Congratulations.
And the industry has an interesting way about dealing with minority people in the industry. So, you know, I just felt like, I don't know, I've been shooting and I've been able to like achieve so much in a short amount of time, I think, compared to like other women's careers of color in which I see. But what I don't want to do is I don't like playing token Black girl if I'm not getting the accolade.
Okay.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I love the industry. I think it's super fun. I'm happy that they added more layers to the testing and stuff. I did hear about that, but they're gonna have to pay more for me to, like, I don't live in LA, so it's like I have to fly out there, I have to test, I have to find somewhere to stay, I have to have, you know, like reliable transportation to make sure I'm getting there and back. I have to make sure that I have set clothes, which for the most part they send you a generic list.
Exactly.
And then you show up and you have all these things that, and me, I'm like a person who wants everything to be
prepared.
Right.
So it's like, I'll go out and buy set clothes. And then I get to like the set and they're like, oh, okay, well, we don't need any of these. We got a bikini for you to put on. And it's like, okay.
And it's like, well, I'm the model and I'm the one serving the body right now. So.
No, I've literally been there. Because I do that pretty much all the time. And they don't send you like these call sheets and you're like, okay, there's some companies like wardrobe is provided. We're doing it. And then there's like, sometimes it's like, well, you're going to play, it's like bring everything that you own, you know, because like you don't know what you're going to do. So I guess I will, I guess like what I'll do is like I'll run over to Target and I'll be like so stressed out because I am a perfectionist too. I'm like, okay, well they want like a black pencil skirt with like black heels, and like they don't tell you that until like the night before. And maybe like I'll like you may have had like a shoot that day and you're just like, well fuck, like what do I do? But I do understand where you're coming from with like being like the token Black girl, right? Because I think it's just you and myself in our agency currently as like women of color. And if there are women of color, they're very white passing. So they have more like, you know.
I like to call it racially ambiguous.
Okay.
Exactly.
True.
Because they may not even be white passing. Like, to me, Scarlet Scandal isn't white passing, but she is racially ambiguous.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Where they're not going to automatically assume she's a black girl when they see her. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say someone who's more like white passing would be like an Emily Willis.
Okay.
Like
Right.
she's like I think she's Latina if I'm not mistaken, but she's very like, you know, I don't mean that like in a harsh way,
Right.
but she very like Eurocentric features to
Sure.
where like she could just do anything and she's gonna get booked as like that.
Yeah, and it does kind of open up the conversation of like, we're all melanated, we're all in the industry, like what it's like to move through that industry. Like we do get cast in certain categories whether we want to or not. And like, some of the work I do, I'm a submissive and I deal with degradation porn. So I sometimes like take that power back, and that's been a little bit of how I deal with it. But it sounds like for you, as you get further in your career, you're having a lot more like autonomy and a lot more like you were saying, like they might need to just pay you more if they want you to do certain kinds of scenes because, you've done that already. And so maybe you can say where you're at in your career, like how has your level and where you've reached made it easier for you to be more like picky with jobs?
You know what's interesting? So I am very proud of myself and how I have done my career, because even in the beginning, if I didn't want to do something, they couldn't make me do nothing. I would just, I have always stuck to the bottom line because I have had a situation. That's why I'm like super crazy about my aesthetic, because when I was shooting in 2017, I did shoot a scene that I was not proud of at all. And then it went viral, and it's viral to this day. And it's like a constant reminder when I see it that like, I would never do this now. Like they could never even, I should have done my due diligence. It's not their fault. It's my fault because I didn't do the due diligence, right? Before I went and shot for this company. So when I came back, I told myself, I said, I am going to only shoot stuff. This is going to go how I want it. And if they don't do it my way, then I won't shoot for them.
See, I think that's so important to hear.
I remember my my agent before Motley. I remember me coming to him and telling him like, hey, we need to book in a 2-week span from this to 2 weeks. And if they can't book me in that time, then I won't come out. And he straight up told me like, oh, well, if you do it that way, then they're not going to book you a whole bunch. Da, 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 da. I was like, okay,
right,
fine. And I didn't have no problems booking. Right. They booked within that time. They booked the things that I wanted to. I used to tell them like, all right, y'all want me to come out here and shoot for this one scene? Y'all gonna fly me out. Y'all gonna pay for my test. Y'all gonna pay for my hair to get, like, shooting any Vixen Media Group stuff, they had to pay for my hair to get done somewhere else.
Well, absolutely. And that's one thing that, like I said, I guess April will be a year for me. And that's why I was so excited to like meet you. Cause like I said on the roster, you're like, okay, like I need to meet somebody that like, I know who's going to tell me the truth. Cause girls will tell you like their version of the truth. But I'm like, no, we're not talking about the same truth out here. Right. So like, let's get on the same page. But like you did, with you, like the biggest thing, you stick to your boundaries. And like you taught me so much of like the reminder of like these people work for you, you don't work for them.
Absolutely.
And like you should make like your demands, you should make like, never be like an asshole, but definitely like be dominant and be assertive and know what you want and know how to talk to these people. And I think that was like very empowering for me to hear, because it's like, okay. So, I mean, I haven't had any bad experiences yet, but it was like that reminder that I do have a voice in this industry, and like, I'm not going to be just tossed around, as your guys' really, like token,
and
nobody
I think that's
wants
important
that.
to hear, just because like, there might be some people starting off in the industry and they might feel like they should be grateful for any work that they get, or that they should just be lucky to be with anybody. But it's like, no, like if you want to be on camera, you deserve to feel proud of the work that you're putting out, and you should be happy about it. And like, you deserve to have that self-worth the minute you enter the game, regardless of whether you've, put in the work or you're just starting out. Like, I think a lot of people needed to hear that.
Yeah. And I think also too, go ahead.
Sorry, leverage too, you were asking like me in my career now. I think the leverage you start with is be a bombshell on set. Be personable, be super awesome on set, because that is your leverage right there. Mm-hmm. They're soapy girls that don't show up on time. They show up and they're drugged out. They show up and they're mean girls. Like all of these things that when they come across a person who's consistent, who's going to shoot great, fantastic, looks great on set, sweet, personable, they're going to go out of their way to try and deal with whatever you're asking for because they know you're not bringing them trouble. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I just made sure in the beginning, like, I would go on set sometimes and people would be like, well, I heard about you. You super sweet. They say you're awesome to have on set. Da, 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 da. I'd be like, okay, cool. Yeah, well, I need this.
That's the way to do it. Show them like how well, because that's what I do. I show up. I'm like you. Like when I am my business. We are our business. So how I do is like I'm a reflection of myself, right? So when I come out to LA, I'm the same way too. I'm like if I'm gonna be out here, make it worth my time. Like I need my 2 weeks. If I'm out there for 2 weeks, I need my 2 weeks to be booked. I came out here to work. I came out here to like that's my mental state. So that's what like that's another big thing I learned for you. I come to set, I show up, I'm always right on time. I'm like always in a good mood. Even if I'm not in a good mood, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm always willing and I'm always able when I'm on set. And I think I'm glad you said that because that's what makes people more willing to go out of their way for you to say, you know what, like this girl is worth it. We've worked with her. We love her. The streets know her as like this being this great, amazing, beautiful, talented, performer. So yes, if she wants to go get her hair done by somebody else, we'll do it.
Right.
I think that's like super important. And I think like sometimes like even the best of us get finessed right into whatever. You may be on set and you may not feel like you should say something, or you may like they may change the script at the last minute and it's not something you originally agreed to. And even that is like something that I tell people is there's a way to go about handling that conflict in like a peaceful manner. I'm not a person that goes on Twitter or social media and start blasting companies and stuff like that, because even if I don't like that company or I don't want to work with them, other companies are also on there and they're watching us. They're watching how we move when we do have a disagreement with something. So it was just like the AVN situation, it's like, all right, cool, y'all won't see me at AVN again.
Yeah, that's like a thing.
I'm not going to go online and bash these people or anything like that. I have respect for the work that they do, and they have obviously some respect for the work that I do. So, like, why burn it? Like, I don't have to burn the bridge in that manner, and I think that's
I get it. That's the best way to do it. Cause I remember like after AVNs, cause I was like actually talking to my partner about this. I was like, okay, he's like, oh, like all this is going on Twitter. Like, do you know? I was like, I don't know, because like I post on Twitter and I go about my business. I post my pictures. I post what I want people to see. And like, that's it. I'm not going to be a part of all of like this drama. Number one, I don't really care, because what you eat don't make me shit, number one. And number two, like, that's for my mental sanity, because if I'm always focused on what everybody else is doing, that makes it harder for me to focus on myself. And like you said, I'm not going to go out and blast people. Like, people get blasted on Twitter, they get blasted on this thing. It's like, I'm not going to get myself caught up in drama. I don't know both sides of the story. And neither am I going to, like, because if I get booked to work with this company, that what your experience is not mine, so I'm not going to go on here. It's like, if I had a bad time with you, you know what, good riddance, like that was cool, but like a mental note for me, I know to say no the next time. I already know what to expect.
I love the fans, but this ain't cheap and it's not free.
No, that was like the biggest thing, because sometimes you get like, I don't know, sometimes it still gets like a little like, you're like, oh, like I'm new, like am I like, it's like, no, you're at that caliber, this shit ain't free.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna just start taking pictures for your spank bank, like, no.
That it's like, I don't care how new I am, I'm still attractive and you want something from me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't care if I just started 2 weeks ago. You stop me. You want pictures. This is AVN, like, pay me.
Exactly.
And just kind of jumping in on that, I wonder, like, how is your confidence from doing adult work? Like, has that spilled into other places of your life? Because, like, for me, I used to be really insecure. And, like, as soon as I became, like, Hunter Stallion, I, like, was feeling myself. And, like, there's a certain standard that you reach where you're just like, I bring in money, I'm self-employed, like I want to be treated a certain way. And when you find people that are like at that level that kind of match your energy, like it becomes an expectation. And I think people are afraid of owning that. But I feel like just kind of hearing all of us and like our style and our vibe, like I feel like adult work has given us that confidence and given us that ability to be like, no, pay me or I'm gone. And like, I think people need to hear that.
You know what's funny? So I came out the womb beautiful.
Right? Some of us are just born with it.
So, I have always been kind of like, even before adult work, I was super famous on Instagram. I was super famous on Tumblr and stuff, like as a child. And so for me, it was just kind of like, it just made it more international. Like it made it worldwide versus like me being a local celebrity, because everybody in New Orleans knows me. Like I had my face painted on the side of a building when I was 18. So it's like,
wow.
I was already popping.
So she's been that girl, is what I'm hearing.
This was just the sprinkle on top.
She's been that girl since day one. That's good.
Helping the video. I'm just helping porn industry out. They not doing it for me.
You're helping them. They're not helping you. You're helping them.
I love that energy though, because like some of us, like we don't come out with that confidence and we have to find it. And so like when I meet someone that already has it and they own it and they're not shy about it, I'm like, get it. Like, because it is infectious.
You know what it is too? What I've realized, especially if you're trying to like elevate the type of money you're going to ask for someone, it's predominantly men, of course, that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And men are predators to an extent, just like women are predators to an extent, right? And they can smell insecurity. They can smell it. So the moment you slip up and you're insecure, then it's negotiation time for them, you know? And for me, it's like, I need you to know that I'm not one to play with when it comes to this, and that I deserve every ounce on top of more than what I'm asking for, and you're getting a discount. So that's kind of like, even when I don't have confidence in a situation, or I go on set and I may be feeling just weird that day, or maybe a little bit insecure that day, I always like fake it till I make it in a sense, because it's like, you know, once I get what I want from doing it, it was like, oh, okay, my fears are gone. You know, my insecurities are gone because I was right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always tell my friends who come in the industry and they deal with that, you know, even if you don't feel insecure, we're actresses. Act like you are confident, because you will get what you want, and you'll see it's less scarier than you imagine, like the rejection. And then rejection is something like I have dealt with, you know, and I think that also builds a tougher skin for you. It's like, okay, cool. Like, it's like that guy who goes to the bar and he hits on every girl. It's because in reality, he's like, all right, statistic wise, there's also many that say no, but for one says yes, right?
Right, so right. You lose, what is it? You miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly, 100% of them.
I'm like, I'm obviously that creep, so.
Yeah, no, I love that about you. And it's also nice too, like being a woman of color, because like sometimes people think like confidence is like the angry like black girl, and it's like no, because if like another person came in and did that, like you guys would be, oh, like she's confident, she's full of it, like it's a great thing. So like I'm glad that you like stick your ground and you're confident and you own it, and like it's like a thing, because like that was a big thing for me too. Like I'm very confident, like I'm a dancer, so like rejection, all that shit, going up talking to random men telling me like this is how much you're gonna pay me and I don't care, or you can move on to the next person. So I've already had to deal with that. But like having the confidence in this industry, just like I think just having the confidence in the world to be like, hey, like you know you're beautiful, you know your worth, you know all these things. But being ethnic, being a person of color, I think it always translates, oh, she's just like this angry, like, you know, and it's like, no, it's not.
I think
we're not doing that game.
A lot too. Like, you know, being an OnlyFans for 2 years and like being in the 1%, like when I realized I could do that, I was like, oh, like I'm making moves. Like I created a career for myself. And like there were some people that noticed like that I was more confident and they didn't like it. And they like, you know, moving to Denver from my hometown, like they were not for that at all. And like some people don't like that energy and they don't like you being confident, especially when you are brown and you're on your shit. And like, and so just seeing two other people that are doing it and making it happen, like it just makes me feel like we're on the right path.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had a guy the other day that messaged me on OnlyFans. He goes, your rates just keep going up. I was like, my time just keeps getting more and more expensive. It's crazy how that works, huh? Funny how that works. And he was like, oh, I want like a custom video, this, that. I was like, okay, well, it's going to be this. I'm like, that's taking time out of my day to make you something that I don't, you know.
Should have got me before I blew up.
You better get me. It's only going to keep going up. Like there's no, like the value of stuff goes up. The value of a Louis Vuitton bag goes up over
the value
over
of
years.
Eggs went up, so
the price of eggs went up. You can pay $8 for a thing of eggs. You can pay for this, and you're going to pay twice as much. It's inflation. It's a recession. We're in inflation right now. There's an inflation on this pussy.
I was literally about to say that. I was about to say it's inflation. All right. I got bills to pay and they have went higher. And then regarding the whole angry black woman thing, yeah, I'm angry. I had to deal with slavery and fucking all this other shit. I'm really angry. Y'all lucky I'm not burning shit down up in here.
Exactly.
Right? So be happy that that's all I am is
Right.
angry and
All
not
we're doing is
vindictive
serving
or
looks when we
not
could
in
be
a
like
moment.
getting revenge.
Right, we could
Like,
be,
yeah,
he's serving life in
peaceful.
prison.
Like let's not get it crazy now. I could be way more things than angry,
No, I know,
and my
exactly,
anger is
exactly. So
warranted.
it's also
So
like we also have to hold it down to like an extent, right? Because it's like, oh, we can't deal with this. Like, okay, well, at the end of the day, like, just know that you'll never be able to walk all over me, but know like I'm professional. But like, if my real everyday life, I don't really fuck with y'all like that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like,
like I said, even with that, it's like there's times where I've been in the industry and because I'm gonna stand my ground, they're gonna throw that out because it's supposed to be like some thing bad. Like I'm supposed to just coil in because you
Right.
said that. Now I'm even more angry. Now
exactly, exactly.
I'm really
Now
angry.
you're
It's
treating me
like
like my problems aren't relevant. Like you're
Right.
treating me like I'm like the problem. Like you're treating me like I'm the instigator.
right. And I'm not Taylor Swift. I am not the problem. It's not me. Okay.
Yeah, is
So,
it
you
no.
know, yeah, that's my thing with that. It's like you can't use black stereotypes against me to make me submit into however you want me to be
Mhm.
because I don't care. And I don't have to. I always tell, anytime like with my last agent, I would always tell him, I'm doing this because I like to, not because
Right.
Exactly.
I need to or that like this is a necessity. Because if that was the case, y'all ain't paying me enough.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I'm doing this because I like to do it. Now, don't get it twisted. Once I don't like to do it anymore, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
So,
Once you hit like that point.
or just like if y'all make it uncomfortable to the point where I don't want to do it, guess who's not doing it?
Mhm.
I have nothing to prove to the industry. They don't. One thing I will say that I really hope other women adopt in the industry don't owe us nothing.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They don't owe me nothing and I don't owe them nothing.
Mhm.
Okay. But when you're no longer beneficial to me, just like how I'm no longer beneficial to you at some point, and you're going to drop me off like I don't exist, I'm going to do the same to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And I think that even
that's
speaks
how
to
it
like a business
works.
mentality of like, we are trying to get something out of it. We're not serving, all the smiles and the body and the orgasms for free. It is part of an exchange. And like, we know that we're going to show up on time and we're going to give the best performance we can. And we know that we're going to get compensated. And there's also things like, it needs to be professional. We need to be accommodated. We need to feel safe, all of that stuff. But people just need to hear that. And they shouldn't feel like, they're lucky just to get signed or they're lucky just to get some subscribers, because really we all have a gift that we're giving and people are lucky that we're inviting them in.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of adult entertainers need to own that. And I just love that.
Yeah, and I also think that regard goes into regards of like the awards,
Mhm.
like it goes into when girls get really angry that they don't get an award. And it's like, once again, they don't owe you anything. And
Mm-mm.
if you go into a situation like if you go into this like that, you'll have like such a better outcome with it because then you won't do things that you think will get you awards. And then when you don't get them, you're mad or,
Right.
you
Right.
don't put much weight on the validation from the industry. You're like, all right, I'm here to enjoy it, get what I can get out of it. When it no longer serves my purpose, then I move on, you know?
Yeah. I'm
And
glad you say
yeah, I
that.
really think it's big.
I'm glad you say that. I'm glad like you went to the awards, like you took your L, like you're like, okay, look, I did it. It's nothing for it's not a reflection of me and my career. You handled it with grace. I mean, I know, like I said, when I went on Twitter, like, a couple of days after the AVNs, I mean, people were like pissed about things, and it's like throwing like a temper tantrum. It's like we're
Right.
not playing like basketball or football or anything. Like it's an industry. Like there's all kinds of politics that go into it. So like I always tell people like my worst day is somebody's best day, and
That's
like
true.
to be even to do this, like you're having a good time. Like if you're taking this to heart, like you shouldn't, like because there are probably a million girls who turn 18 every day who are willing and able.
Right.
You know what I mean? We do put in a lot of work. We do put in a lot of effort. You do, you show up on set, and you're hoping that, that's like, it's like winning an Oscar, right? But like, damn, how many times did Leonardo DiCaprio get like nominated for an Oscar before he finally won something, right? Like, so it's like, you got to put in that work. And sometimes by that point it's like, well, I had a great career, I had a fun time, it was fun while it lasted, but like now it's on to like the next venture in life. Or maybe like for me, I'm like, dude, I'm about to retire at like 35. Like that's my plan. I'm about to go like disappear on an island somewhere with cats, and I'm just gonna be gone.
Right.
August, you'll never hear August Skye again.
Yeah. Or just like you had said earlier, Lacey, about like you were born with it, like you had that from birth, and it's like once you have that, like that, you're set, and like that's just so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to be super confident in what you're going to do with yourself, because our industry is hard. We're around top tier, beautiful women, super sexual. I always tell like people, I never was intimidated by sexual energy until I did porn. And I walked on these sets, some of these teeny boppers at 18, like they wouldn't even be doing anything sexual. They would just be standing there and it's just oozing off them.
Sexual
like the aura.
Energy.
Right.
And it's like intimidating. And I never had that experience until I did adult work. And you will sometimes like compare, because that's only natural to do. You want to know, okay, if I'm not shooting for this company, is it because of my views? Am I not getting enough traffic? Like you just start to kind of pick at those things, and you just have to tell yourself like, what's meant for me is meant for me.
That's a big thing. That's like some good advice. That's like advice like I gave myself. So like people are like, oh, you don't go back and watch your videos. I don't watch my videos. I don't read comments. I don't like do all that, because I'm like, if I start to get into that mindset, I'll start comparing myself. I'm going to say, why are my numbers like not like this? Just like you said. So I just kind of opt out to not. I'm just like, you know what, for my mental sanity, because I feel like it would eat me the fuck up if I got too mentally like into it, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to see what people have to say. Like, if people like me, I'm going to keep getting booked, right? People like me, they're going to keep following. People like me, like whatever. Like you said, if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. But like that just helps my mental sanity. And people, like a lot of people don't believe that, oh, like you don't go back and watch your scenes. I'm like, no, because I'm like, oh, like I looked weird in that scene. I moaned weird in that scene. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, like I was having fun. But then next time on set, I'm going to be thinking about that, right? I'm going to be thinking about that face that I made and like how that's not sexy or something like that. So I just like, whatever it is that's out there, it's out there. Like I'll retweet clips, I'll watch like a little bit of like the clip. I'm like, it's out there, they clipped it, they're posting it, obviously it's good.
Yeah. See, I'm like a glutton for punishment. I read all the comments. Like I'm scrolling through, I check every day to see like what new people say, and like, people can say weird shit, they always do, but like in between that, like I call my audience the girls, and I'm just like, the girls are feeling it, or the girls are saying this, and like it can be fun to engage, but sometimes knowing that limit, like you said, of just being like, I don't want to watch these scenes. I don't need to like hyper analyze and things like that. Sometimes it does help to just be in the moment and stuff like that. But I think for me, I was just like, oh, like I look good there. Like I served it. Like, so it's a mix of things, I think.
Yeah, you do have to just kind of own it and just be in it. But Lacey, do you have any advice for girls who are looking to get into the industry, girls or guys, just anyone, whether they're women of color or, I mean, we'll just say women of color, because obviously that's what we are. And that's the best advice you can give is to people of, people. So if you have to give people advice or kind of like, any like pointers, I mean, I feel like you've hit like a lot, but if you could sum it up, what would you tell anyone coming into the industry right now?
Just do your due diligence on what you're getting into. Because whatever you put out does not go away. It does not go away. I know it sounds super cliche and everyone always says that, but it's so true. Like I said, shot a scene in 2017 that still pops up on my screen, and always just do your due diligence, always research, always know what you're getting yourself into, always sign before you sign a contract, please, it takes like $100 online for you to have an online lawyer look at a contract, and everything is negotiable. That's another thing. Everything is negotiable. Okay. Rates are negotiable. Then your amenities, travel, lodge, everything is negotiable, and just be prepared to have to negotiate to get the things that you're going to want. Be on point about your branding, because they go online to see if you've done cosplay. so that they can book you for cosplay. Okay. They're going to go online and see if you're a submissive or a dominant. And then they're going to book you based on that. They're going to go online and see how you speak and how you engage with your fans. And if you are engaging with your fans, and are you doing merch stuff? Are you doing things outside of the adult industry? They want to see those things. So, be prepared to have all of that critiqued when you're shooting, and then just enjoy it. Like, enjoy the ride. It's fun. It has its ups and downs, but it's very short amount of time that you get to do what we do, and very few of us get to do it at the level that we do. So if you are blessed to get to that space, enjoy it. It's super fun, and you will never have an experience like that again.
Nice. And then one last thing, if people want to follow you with your beautiful face and then beautiful titties and you creating like Legos and shit like that at night, where I'm like, dude, I want to sign up so I can watch that. Where can people find you?
So I do have an OnlyFans, it's The Bimbo Kitty. I do have TikTok where I build it live, and that's The Bimbo Kitty. I do have my Twitter, that is The Bimbo Kitty. And I have my Twitch, that is The Bimbo Kitty.
Everything, you can find her under The Bimbo Kitty, which I love that name.
That's branding right there.
That's some fire-ass branding.
I know it, right?
Miss Lacey London,
thank you guys for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It was such a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to make content with you, or a scene, or just hanging out. It's gonna be a great, messy, hot, fun time.
All of it.
I'm gonna jiggle them titties. All right. Until next time, everyone. Stay hustling, my little bunnies, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is powered by The Plug.